Okay, welcome to the first and hopefully last episode of The Grumpy Hat. I am the Grumpy Hat. Why am I grumpy? Well, there's a fly in my tea. I hate video tutorials and I'm having to do one. I teach media and this coronavirus thing means I have to do everything from home, record video tutorials. Why do I hate them? I like working with people, and I don't like the way that they've become a genre in their own way, and people are trying to make money out of it. And I just see it as young creatives pimping equipment that people don't need for these big multinational corporations that could pay for advertising, or at least those people to make ads for them. So I don't like the culture, but there's a need to go through a few things which we can do quite easily and quickly. And what I want to talk about today is how to get the most out of the equipment that you've got. So how to get the most out of your phone cameras, how to get the most out of if you have a DSLR or something lying around, and some sort of basic capture techniques. So first of all, as you can see, I'm recording through a laptop camera, which is shithouse. You can see as I move around, the exposure is changing a lot. First homework task for this week is to find some sort of application to actually control that camera. I'm sure there's something out there, but I haven't been asked to find it. I haven't needed it. Don't particularly want it, but could be useful if that's all you've got. The second thing regarding the laptop is your recording quality, audio quality. And I've actually got quite a fancy little speaker here. I don't really want to talk about brands, but it's a pretty good USB semi-pro recording thing. Seems to be doing a pretty good job. Let's just see what it sounds like if I go through the... Okay, here we go again, going through the laptop microphone. See if you can hear any difference between what I had plugged in before and the laptop one. Okay, now we're back on the road. Oh, sorry, mentioned the brand name. I'm back on the expensive purchased microphone, so hopefully it sounds a little bit better than what was coming in off the laptop. Not sure about that though, I haven't done too much testing with it yet. But the main thing I really wanted to talk about today is getting the most out of your camera phone. And the first thing you need, really, is some sort of clip stabilizer, a book, something to lean it on, something to put it on, so you're not always hand holding the bloody thing. This is a little kind of, again, I don't want to name the brand, but you can just buy these sort of clips, and the important thing, it has a screw that can go into a tripod, and even has a little stand at the back that can level it up. But yeah, so the idea is to be able to get it on a tripod and to stop moving around. Okay, so now once we've got it going, like the laptop camera, the important thing to be able to do is to find an app to control the settings. Now, I am going to recommend, again, I don't like doing this stuff, pimping this stuff, because, usually it's not worthwhile, but Filmic Pro is a really good app. It costs about $20 Australian, I think, but there's probably cheaper ones. Let's just look at what it does for you to try to do as well. So first thing on your phone is to take the screen orientation off so it's free to move sideways, or at least lock it sideways so you're not always recording something bloody vertically, which is really annoying. Now, the important thing with the video capture apps is being able to change fix the exposure. See, the problem with doing it with these things is all this auto exposure. So with these things, with the Filmic Pro, it essentially turns your phone into a manual camera. You've got exposure and focus there. If you hit this little button on the side here, it actually gives up a different sort of way to set those. So you've got the focus on the right and exposure on the left. But if we go back here, if you hit them red, I think that's the exposure. If you make them red, it locks it. So if I move around, it actually doesn't change the exposure as I move around. And same with the focus. The other important things here, which is white balance, which is what's really annoying about the laptop camera as well. That there's this kind of blue cast because I've got this orange background. That's because it's automatic. It's trying to get rid of the orange, which I actually don't want. So I can actually set this to good presets like sun or cloud, and I actually think the cloud's a bit too warm, so I can cool that down a little bit here manually and have my own little preset. So around probably around 6,000. It's late afternoon, 6,000, and I've got a correct white balance. The other really important things about the phone camera is to be able to change all your capture settings. So its resolution, its frame rate, the different microphones you can use for the audio, which camera you're going to use. So frame rate's good at 25 for this, but you can do slow mo, and also useful to have your guides up. Just a little note: if you've got your camera set to upload to a cloud or your images, I suggest saving them not to your camera roll, because then it'll try and upload these really massive files that your camera export. The important thing is being able to control the camera, to control the exposure, control the white balance, and not having changing all the time. So Filmic Pro is one thing. The other thing to think about with the camera with the phone is to use another app for the audio. Now, the audio settings were pretty good in that Filmic Pro, but I just want to mention the basics of audio recording to make you think maybe about recording the image and the audio separately. So the thing with audio is you're dealing with a vibration. So when I speak and I make a noise, I'm actually vibrating particles from my vocal cords, my diaphragm, sending it out, and that's a vibration of particles through the air. And you want a microphone that's actually going to respond to that vibration accurately and record it. So the main thing with microphones is actually distance. So if it's closer to the source, it's going to pick up that vibration a lot clearer, and it's also going to ignore the other noise, which are vibrations that you don't actually want. So it's an important term in audio recording is the signal to noise ratio. So the signal is the sound that you want, the vibrations that you actually want to record, and the noise is the vibrations that you don't want to record. So if you can imagine just all these vibrations coming off everything that's making a sound, and you want to try and capture just the vibrations that you want. So getting your microphone closer to the subject is an ideal way to do that. But of course, if I've got my microphone like this, I won't be able to record the image at the same time. But that's fine, and it's often much nicer to actually have separate things. So we could do a little demonstration of that. So this app that I'm going to recommend is called Voice Record. You could choose another one, but whatever. And this one's actually free. And the good thing about this is, again, you can change the recording format to a professional format. I've got the WAV file chosen here, so it's not going to compress very much. 96,000 sample rate, which is just basically how many samples in that recording. The less you have, the less samples, the lower the quality. And similarly, the depth of the bit depth refers to how much data is in that those samples as well. Channels, you can just have mono, because generally you're just recording one person speaking, or one particular sound that you can mix, and that's good to go. And if you hit up here, you can set your levels and do some tests there. This is quite close to me and it's quite a bit, so we can probably put that gain down a little bit, and that can be good to go. You can choose the different microphone position on your phone and hit go, and then I can start recording there, and I've got a good signal coming out. So I'll play this over the recording so we can see what it does. So again, holding it close is really important. Not too close, because you'll start to get popping when people use their P's, and it's the actual wind resistance actually going to the microphone too loud. So you want to keep that to a minimum by just having it right length, not to pick up stuff that you don't want. Now, the whole idea of having this little bracket was to be able to not hand hold your phone and get all that rubbing, and particularly with the camera, to stop it moving around so much. So grab a little tripod. You can use any of those crappy little ones, but this is one that I just found lying around. It's kind of useful just with the ball head with the phone, but anything will work. And I'll sort of record some image to see how that looks on the phone as opposed to from the laptop. We'll do a little contrast there. Let's change that. I'll set this up here. Okay, back again. And again, just thinking about how you might record these two things separately. So you could have your image just doing like this, having a cup of tea, Okay, so I think we've covered some basics around audio recording, how to get the most out of your camera, a couple of apps there to consider. Having it on a tripod again, getting a little bracket. Again, don't want to really name brands or anything like that because I'm not a bloody shopping mall. The only other thing I wanted to just kind of give you a demonstration on, I guess, is to compare the quality of an SLR. This isn't, a crash hot brand new thing or anything. In fact, I'd recommend if you're going to purchase an SLR, probably look at things that are about 2 years old because they're almost half the price. And the technology will probably last you about 10 years actually, despite what they will try to tell you. Just setting up a camera here that has another, a bit of brand there, but which has some sort of basic video recording, and I'll just put that on, record. So, and I've set the focus already, so we can kind of compare what the different footage looks like. That's probably, I can't bloody frame it while being in the frame at the same time, so let's just have a look at what comes out of that. And that's recording from a microphone at a distance now. So again, thinking about the distance of the audio recording. So if the microphone's closer to the source, you're going to get a cleaner recording. If it's further away, you're going to pick up more junk, and you have to turn up the sensitivity. So what we were doing in comparison with the sound on the okay, you can shave some more if you want. We're doing a comparison with the microphone on there. Now there's obviously a lot of noise happening at the moment. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening. The other thing you can use is, of course, a lapel microphone.
Is that pretend?
No, this isn't pretend. This is a real deal. And a little trick with the lapels, so they don't pop too much, is actually to face them down, and you get a clearer signal from the voice. Okay, yeah, you're actually cutting my hair there. Let's hear the difference between the lapel mic and the mic that's on that SLR. See if I'm getting a decent signal.
I think you're all finished, Daddy.
Am I all finished?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if that should be running. That should be fine. Is that still recording? Yeah, that's recording. I'm not sure if that's picking it up, but maybe if you just turn off that bloody clippers. And so that's with the lapel mic there. Haven't really mic'd it up. Well, that might be rustling a bit, but let's just turn it around so it doesn't rustle so much. But like that, so that's nice and close to, see you, Orlando. Bye.
Bye.
That's nice and close.
Can you move this?
No, I'm busy. That's nice and close to my mouth now, getting a nice signal. Where's my hat gone? Yeah, so a lapel mic is a good option, particularly if you're recording outside, a lot of birds and shit, making a lot of noise, so it's good to kind of just get it nice and close to your source. Let's go back to the Rode mic, shall we? So just referring to my notes here on an old letter, getting the most out of whatever camera you've got. Laptop camera's crap. First homework task is to find some way to control that, control the exposure, make it stop. Ideally get some white balance as well. If you're using a mobile phone, consider investing in an app where you can actually control the camera, control the exposure, control the export format. Consider recording your audio and your visuals separately, not in sync if you're using just the phone. Remembering to get the microphone as close as possible to the source, but not too close as to actually get physical kind of interaction. And yeah, just highlighting the difference between your sort of SLR and these other crappy devices. But yeah, good luck. Stay safe with the coronavirus. Wash your hands. Stay indoors, and bye.